so my countdown was not aired. So 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to STEM at Home for 6th to 9th graders with Newton's Road. Each week we are joined by experts from regional businesses and career-oriented education and training programs. My name is Barb Termont, and I'm the Executive Director of Newton's Road. We're a regional nonprofit supporting STEM learning and career exploration. I also have with me Annalisa Wiesner, who is our intern from Michigan Technological University. Say hi, Annalisa.
Hi, everyone.
And our special guest today is Jen Marcenaro. She works at Safety Net, a local company focused on security for all of things related to computers and technology. But she started her career in healthcare, and I'm sure she'll share with us a lot about her journey and how she ended up in internet technologies, or IT. Welcome, Jen. So this session is going to be recorded and available on Facebook Live and on our YouTube channel, both of those for Newton's Road, Facebook Live and YouTube, and as well as on our community media station, 189. Since most of you are joining us through Facebook Live today, please put your any questions that you have for Jen in the comment section on Facebook Live. I'll put a little hint to do that in just a moment. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about Newton's Road before getting back to Jen. So in 2020, this year, we are celebrating 10 years of Newton's Road, working to ensure that all kids in our region have access to quality STEM learning and career exploration opportunities. And our hope is that all of you become great problem solvers. So we're going to just show you a few things on our webpage. If you want to watch one of our upcoming STEM at Home, if you just go to our homepage, you can click and get all of the access information. And they're organized by the different opportunities that we have. And on our homepage, if you scroll down, after learning a little bit about Newton's Road, you can join our mailing list right there in the middle of the right side of the page. And that way you'll get our monthly newsletter that tells you about all the upcoming activities that are happening online and eventually back in person again. We also have a calendar feature. And on our calendar, you will find both live and pre-recorded or activity-based learning. So like for today, you could just click the live virtual events or unclick the other one, and all of the live things happening with Newton's Road or with other STEAM makers in our region. Like you can see there's some things from Norte and Cognition down there at the bottom. And these are all live productions. If you select the anytime activities, then these are STEM activities that can be done basically with materials that you can easily find at home. Okay, so apologize for some background noise there. So if you have any questions for Newton's Road or for Jen, please use that comments feature in Facebook. So now we're going to go back to Jen. So to hear about IT and about your journey. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. So I'm so happy to be here talking to you all about IT and the so many different areas where it lives. Before we get deep inside of it all, I just want to kind of define what the term IT stands for, because we hear it so much in every day nowadays with technology all around us. So what does that mean? What does it stand for? You know, we're constantly using that term IT. So it stands for information technology. And information technology and IT is a very, as you'll see as we get going here, very, very broad term. And typically the definition of it means like all the aspects of managing and processing information through technology in a business or company. But the term IT is so common nowadays, and with so many tablets and cell phones and computers and different networks in people's homes, the term is kind of thrown around a little bit loosely. And I don't think anyone's really going to beat you up about it if you say IT and you don't necessarily mean a company. But when we're talking information technology, for the most part, it is defined as managing and processing information through an organization. So just know that as we go along, but most people nowadays do know what the term means. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide. I have a middle schooler at home, and you guys are perfect age right now where technology is so familiar to you. You live in a time where you've never been alive without it. So it's very simple. You're born and you're kind of touching it and you're around it and you're exposed to it. And it might seem weird to you, but not everybody around you in the world still had that. I did not have technology around me growing up most of the time. I'm sure you have teachers and parents that did not as well. And even your grandparents probably didn't have it at all. So technology is one of those things that it might have been invented when your grandma was younger, but it may not have been easily accessible. So you couldn't just hop on a cell phone or use a computer anytime you wanted. So I won't tell you how old I am and give away my age, but it was not very long ago that I was in school and I did not have cell phones or computers in school growing up. So it wasn't that long ago that not everybody had access to that stuff. So I got some pictures here of some things that when I was younger was some of the first technology that I got to see. So that picture on the left is a car phone. And this is what it used to look like when you had a phone that was kind of like a cell phone or mobile device. Not everybody had them. I did not see one of these until I was in high school. And even then, only fancy people who had a lot of money had them. So it wasn't something that everybody just had. It was something special that you had. The middle one is a computer, and this looks similar to the first computer that I had in school. We had computers in school when I was in 8th grade. It was the first time. In 6th grade, we had typing class on a typewriter, but we did not have computers yet. I think we did have the electronic typewriters at least. But that's what the computer looked like. And we didn't have access to a computer at home. We didn't have access to it all the time. And then this is the really funny one that I get a kick out of is the picture on the right is a card catalog. And this is how we looked up where to find the books at the library. So now you kind of go in the library and you can type in where you want to go on a computer, but we didn't have that. So you had to pull up these little index cards and it kind of told you where you would go to find your book. So I'm not that old, or I don't feel that old. And it wasn't that long ago that these things were new. So just imagine as you guys grow up and get older, what's here now and the things that are coming. So this is where it's super important for you guys and where you're a huge asset to our future, especially with technology, because you've grown up around it, you're comfortable around it. Sometimes people my age or a little bit older aren't always comfortable around technology because it was something that was new to us. But you guys are kind of involved in the existing technology. And as you grow, the technology will grow with you. So I know a lot of you might be a little bit away about thinking about a future career or what you want to be when you grow up. And maybe some of you do, but that's okay. You don't have to know what you want to do now. But it is a good time to start thinking about it and start digging in if you have an interest in IT. What is IT? And there's so many different avenues and because we know one thing, and that's that IT and tech is going to be around for a long time. So even if you have a job in the future that isn't necessarily an IT related job, you will see IT inserted in those non-IT jobs. I mean, Barb and I were just talking about healthcare. You know, you might go into a healthcare field, but chances are you're going to be using tablets and computers and even security cameras and different things. Even medications are administered through IT or technical things. So we're going to be seeing it. It's not going to go away probably anytime soon. So I know as 6th through 9th graders, you probably recognize some of these slides, and that is, you know, my middle schooler at home. Just, you know, when he thinks of IT, he basically thinks that IT revolves around video games, YouTube, TikTok, and that is a little bit true in his world, but there is so much more to IT than that. And I want to get into all the different pieces where you can take it. And while it's great and it's awesome and it's a start, if you're interested in developing your own video game or becoming a superstar YouTuber like Jacksepticeye, that guy up there right now, there's so many more things that you can do with IT and to think about when we're talking about it. So let's just expand on those things and think about the things you see around you. We're going to dive into the different layers of IT, but first I want to define the word network because I think I've already used it and I'm going to use it again. So it's important to know what a network is and what it means. So if you pull up the word network in a dictionary, you're going to see it's going to say an arrangement of intersecting horizontal and vertical lines, and it'll also say a group or system of interconnected people or things. So when we're talking about a computer network in relation to that definition, it basically means 2 or more computer systems linked together as one. So that picture there on the left is the little dots represent the computers or the devices, and the lines represent how they're connected. So they're all on one network and they can talk to each other. And so when we're saying network, that's basically what we mean. So when I said home network earlier today, it means we're all connected on the same internet connection here in the house, but the computer and the gaming system and the tablets and the cell phones are all on that same network. Okay, we'll get to this. So when I talk about the term IT being very in-depth and multifaceted and all the layers, I want to just give you a quick example here on this slide of how many different pieces to IT and information technology there really is. So when you're talking about IT, you can break it down into levels or layers, and you can start out with the physical. So the physical is pretty easy. We're all familiar with it. It's the device that you can touch. So we've got the computer, the printer, a cell phone, a tablet. At the grocery store, it's the cash register. It's the card reader that takes your debit card at the gas station. It's an ATM, an electronic vending machine, the gaming system in your house. All of these things are the physical aspects of IT. Then we can get a little deeper and we can talk about the operating system. And that's kind of like the brain that runs the physical device. So if you have a computer and it's a Dell or an Asus or whatever kind of computer you have that's not a Mac, then you're running a Windows operating system. Or there's also Linux. If you've got the Mac, you're running an Apple or Mac operating system. Most of you are familiar with your phones. If you've got an Android, it's because it's the Google Android operating system. And if you have an iPhone, it's the Apple operating system. The next term is also part of IT, and it's pretty familiar now with the use of cell phones and things. We're pretty familiar with the term application or apps. Anytime you put that game on your phone or flashlight app or whatever other apps you're installing, those are applications. But computers also have applications as well. So anytime you are Googling something in Chrome or Firefox to search something up on the internet, or Safari if you're using a Mac, that's an application that is housed on your computer that it's running. Then we can get into things that aren't so physical, but maybe a little bit. So databases, storage, these can be held on the cloud, which are in the internet, and you can't really touch or see where they're at. They're not a physical location. Or you can do these, you can store things on a hard disk a DVD, a CD, a USB chip that goes into your computer. And then there's servers, which house your email or your printers or web addresses, application servers. It just goes on and on and on. So there really, really is IT literally all around us. If you switch to the next slide, we'll use some more examples. So I've listed off quite a few, but if you just take a minute and you even just look around where you're sitting right now. I'm sitting at a desk in the corner in a bedroom, and I can see, besides my computer, other things that involve technology. It's everywhere around us. It's in our video games, in the cell phones that we mentioned, computers, satellites above us that are running all the time. Stoplights run off tech, the walk and don't walk signs when you're walking down the road. Basically every aspect of our lives right now, we have tech surrounding us. What's cool about that is that every bit of technology around us is a person behind it making it work or creating it. So with technology around us and only getting bigger and bigger, there's always a professional somewhere or a job that you can get to do that as a career. Another awesome thing is that because there's so many levels and layers of technology and different skill levels, the jobs are kind of similar. You can have a basic skill level to get into a career with IT, or you can have a lot of extensive training and specialize in things. So it kind of just depends what you're into and what you learn that you like, and how far you want to dig in. So let's talk about for a minute. I kept this slide the same with the same picture as the last one because those are some guys that work at Safety Net. And I want to talk a little bit about if you get into a job in IT, what will you do? And because that list is so extensive, so is that answer to that question. But I just want to show you that even at Safety Net, we're kind of a smaller company. We have about 33 employees. But just in this one picture, this handful of people from Safety Net, there are 3 different skill levels and 3 different employees just in that picture. So there are a wide variety of things to do. And not only could you be fixing the IT problems that you come across and all those things that we listed a few minutes ago, you could be somebody that maybe tests the tech. You might be somebody that wants to build or create the technology or the software or the database. You might be somebody who installs it, repairs it, maintains it, because all of those things need to be created, need to be designed, they might break, they need to be maintained and monitored. So these guys on the left is Jason, and he's a network administrator. So he is kind of, when one of our clients calls in and they have a problem, he's an L3 technician. So he's kind of a little bit level up. He's got some specific training that puts him a little bit higher up the chain of command there for help desk. And so somebody calls, they have a problem with their computer, and the first guys can't fix it. They're going to pass it to Jason, and he's going to dig in and he's going to figure out what's wrong and hopefully fix it. And then in the middle there, you've got Chris, and he sets up and deploys brand new computers. So he opens it up from the box, gets all the software on it. He also might add more space or RAM, replace a hard drive on a computer that isn't working, and get it working again. So he does some more some more physical stuff with the computers. And then on the right is Adam, and he's more of kind of like we don't have a lot of developers at Safety Net, but he kind of is. He develops scripts that we can run internally to make our jobs faster. So instead of installing a program right from the beginning and clicking through, and it might take 20 minutes to install it, Adam can create us a script so that we can run it and have it done in just a few minutes and never have to look back and it's installed. He also does a bunch of behind the scenes stuff for Safety Net and our clients, such as maintaining our backups and making sure our antivirus is going and testing internal software that we might want to use. So 3 very different jobs, all at the same place, all different skill levels. So I am going to go through some IT careers. Now, like I said, there are so many. If this is something that you think might be of interest to you, go online and look it up and see what's out there. But I listed a couple things that just sound cool. You know, there's so many things that you can do with IT. Just listen to the names of these, like some of them, like data scientist. Like, how cool does that sound? But instead of working with chemicals and you're pouring things and mixing things, you're actually collecting and analyzing data for businesses. So you would also help translate data that might come in to kind of figure it out and see where it goes and what it means. Um, so that was the data warehouse analyst. The data scientist is quite a bit of math, part like computer scientist, and they have a lot of technical training and complex. Just kind of read that data as well and solve the problems related to it. We talked about the data warehouse analyst. Then there's a software developer, where this is where if you wanted to create an app or a script or a video game, you're developing it, maintaining it, creating it. Then you have a computer systems engineer. I saw Newton's Road has talked a little bit about engineers in the past. And this is for computer systems. They develop, test, evaluate software, work on personal computers or networks, just a wide variety of things. If you're interested in project management, you can be that for IT, which you're just planning, organizing, kind of allocating those resources for the company and budgeting time and money. This one is really cool. I listed this one. I don't know one of these personally, but maybe somebody does. If anyone on Facebook does, let me know. But this is an AI architect. So artificial intelligence, if you're into robots or you're in robotics and that kind of thing, that's where this field would come in. You're designing, creating. The term architect, you're familiar with that from building and drawing up plans for buildings. This would be for robots. Same with the cloud architect. And then the computer support specialist is kind of how I described for Jason's job. There's just a huge wide variety of things that you can do. So I want to talk about now what you can do right now as a kid who's interested in IT, because that's the important part. How can you get out there and get working and get using that brain to help you move forward later? So here's some things that are really helpful. And that's, first of all, if you have an old computer laying around, which I think a lot of us do nowadays, and if not, maybe Safety Net can help you with that, because we do recycle some. So take it apart, see what's inside of it. Obviously, you want to be safe and make sure an adult's around and knows, there to help. And not have it plugged in, but Google how it works and what the pieces are inside that you find, and just kind of look up like, oh, what's this, and figure out how it works. A big thing in IT is troubleshooting issues. So everyone in their home at one point or another has something go wrong with their technology. So what you can do to help is, and you can probably help your parents, because most of you probably know a little bit more even than your parents, but let's say your Wi-Fi is not working or your dad's computer has an error, just Google it. Google what that error means and see if you can help fix it. A little secret about the technicians is that most of them don't know those errors by heart or know how to solve your problems right off the bat. We actually just look it up on Google and find the answer. So some of it's investigating, and you can most certainly start doing that now. Huge, guys, especially nowadays. There are so many groups for STEM and classes at your school, events at the library, even local IT companies will often have events. Get involved with those, join those groups, check them out, listen to blogs, tune into Newton's Road, and read information that keeps you up to date on the current IT news. You could even check out websites like Safety Net's website has information that's keeps you up to date on the news for IT. So read people's websites and stay in the loop. Always ask questions and then look them up online if you don't know them. And a big one for you guys, especially, I'm pushing my 6th grader right now to do it, is get comfortable on the phone. not just to your friends or not just talking through the mic on a video game, but order your own pizza, or see if your mom will let you make, or your dad will let you make your own appointment if you have it coming up, just to get used to talking to people on the phone, because when you're working in IT, you're always working with a user for the most part. So you do want to be able to talk to them and get comfortable on the phone. So next time, don't use the app. Just pick up the phone, try calling, see how that works. I think that about wraps it up. So this summer, I would just say, you guys, this year's been really weird, but when you're out and about, or even in your own home, kind of pay attention to your own surroundings and what's out there, and how many IT related things are actually around you, and think about how the tech is used, and where that IT professional might be hiding in the background next time.
Thank you, Jen. So we do have some questions, and if you have questions for Jen, go ahead and put them in the chat in the Facebook. First question, do I need to be good at math to work in IT?
I hope not, because I'm not good at math and I work in IT. So it just depends. So we talked about all the different levels of IT that there is. Having a general knowledge of math, if you're going into something like development, and just knowing, so in math, you don't necessarily have to know the math problems, but sometimes people who are good at math tend to be good at certain portions of IT because they have the same type of thinking. So you have to have the type of thinking to kind of be able to troubleshoot, and math comes in handy for developers because of just recognizing algorithms and things. So it's not necessarily being good at math, and obviously there's different levels of IT. So for some positions, you might need to be good at math, or just a concept thinker, if that makes sense. Math people tend to be, that basic math concept, just having an idea and your brain working in that way, but you don't necessarily have to be good at math.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We have another question.
Sure.
What would be a good entry-level position at Safety Net?
Good question. So, and in any IT company probably, but at Safety Net specifically, when you're maybe just coming out of school or you're looking into a career in IT, we do have internships, and I know a lot of other companies probably do too. But it's always a good idea to start in an internship, because you can learn. And it teaches you the basics. So our internship starts you out at the basics of maybe getting familiar with the pieces and parts of a computer, and kind of like loading a new computer, just those basic entry-level skills, and getting your hands a little dirty in the environment. So that's a good position to start if you're coming fresh out of school, or you're not even out of school yet. Starting as an intern is always a good idea, and just to keep your eyes peeled for that.
And can students find information on the internship on your website?
Yeah, so a Safety Net's website is actually a really good resource, because we do have a blog, and we do keep information about the upcoming jobs. We also do some of those career events for college students, and for, there's always talk of doing things for the younger kids that are coming up. So definitely check our website as a resource for those things, and also Facebook. Follow us on Facebook or LinkedIn. And you can always feel free to call. Anybody at Safety Net would be happy to answer any questions if you ever called and just said, like, I'm a student and I'm curious.
So we have just about one more minute here.
Yeah.
Do we have time for
I
one
think
more
we
question,
probably
Beth?
have to, I don't think so. I think we have to wrap up. But if you pass on another question to the Facebook comments, we'll make sure it gets to Jen and gets answered. So go ahead if you have another question that we didn't get to. And thank you so much for joining us, Jen. It's been fabulous having you with here and learn about IT in general, and with some great examples from our local company, Safety Net. We also want to thank, thank you. We also want to thank our sponsors and supporters who make this kind of programming possible. to bring every week. This is actually, we're going to be continuing the career series so over the summer. So keep looking on our Facebook and our website for that. This week, we have 2 more shows. We have STEM at Home for K through 5th grade, and that will be around space, life in space. And at Thursday at 4:30, we will have Jen back, and she's going to talk to us more about those soft skills, like when she was saying practice talking on the telephone. She's going to have some more great tips, because oftentimes technologists don't realize that it's just as important to understand how to communicate as it is to do the technology. So with that, we're going to close for today and have a fabulous rest of your day, and hope to see you on Thursday.